For entrepreneur, right, sometimes it's not about what you do, It's about when you fall, right, you know when to stand up and how to stand up and you stand up again, That's the most important thing as an entrepreneur. Just say.
Alright guys, imagine this. You're having an interview for a job you really want, and the interview has gone on for about half an hour. Everything is going well, you're doing well, and then it has come to the end of the interviewer asks you this. Do you have any question for me? Okay, what is one question you will ask the interviewer?
I've never been to an interview before, sir. Okay, I feel for myself, right? Although I've never been to an interview before, but I feel that I'm the person that cares a lot about how each team work with each other in a company, especially in a big company. So I think I'll ask at the end of the interview, how is the dynamic like between the different teams in your company?
Okay,
I don't know if that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think I'll ask that.
For me, I'll ask what's the career progression like in this position. Yeah. Cause if it's a job that I want, right, I will see it long term. And if there's no career progression, then I probably won't take the job also.
Mm-hmm. So what is the longest you have worked in a company for? Okay.
I'm in SG Gossip for 5 years.
Okay, how about you?
For me, I think, there's always this question, right? The interviewers always will ask, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time, right?
Okay.
But for me, I think I will ask that question back to the interviewer. Like, what does the company, which direction will the company go in 5 years' time or 10 years' time? I'm that kind that I feel, right, if let's say I work for this or this is something that I'm working on, I will want to take it as mine. So I want to do as well as possible to further this whole project or this whole company's direction.
I help them achieve the vision. Wow, you give the explanation. Can you start?
Very good questions that you all want to ask. Now imagine this, okay? Same thing. You are the employer now. And right before you, there are two candidates. Candidate A, candidate B. Candidate A asks you this. What have past employees done to succeed in this position?
Wow.
When can you start?
So you can see he takes it seriously. He wants to do well in this position. Candidate B says this. I wish to have flexible working conditions. What flexi working options does your company provide?
Okay.
Okay. Now you are the employer. You look at these two candidates. Tell me which one are you more likely to hire, and which one do you think will probably succeed in whatever they do?
I think candidate A, no?
I also think candidate A. Because past position, of course, they have succeeded in holding that position. So there might be certain characteristic or certain habits that person needs.
Yeah.
So he is not sure of it. So he's asking so that he can fulfill the role well also. So I feel that candidate A.
Yeah, same for me for candidate A. I feel it's because right from the start you already know the person's mindset. Are you willing to hustle? Full stop. Person A, right, he's willing to hustle, like, okay, tell me more about it. But for person B, it's more like, how much time do I have to rest? How much time do I have for leisure? That kind of, that direction.
Okay,
Yeah.
it seems like clearly very intuitive, right?
Yeah.
There's one person who stands out, this guy probably will do well for the company and do well for himself. And one person, whether or not he does well, you will learn later, but you know that this person, right now his priorities are different. But let me share with you what recently happened. There's this one entrepreneur in Singapore. Her name is Jin Lee. She has done quite a number of things. In fact, I just recently got to know about her. So last night I was learning a lot more about what she does and all. Let me share with you a bit more about her. So that gives you a bit of context when I share with you what happened in the comment section.
Okay.
So this entrepreneur by the name of Jin Lee, she's the founder of a PR marketing company. She's the person behind many key fashion events in Singapore, like Cartier, some Audi festival and stuff.
Wow.
All this, she is the main person.
Wow.
Okay, she mentors women entrepreneurs. Right? She stands up for redefining learning as not just academic success beyond grades. She supports and highlights many local businesses. So she posts a lot of stories about companies in Singapore that she wants to promote. and it's free lah. She doesn't charge them anything. Okay, so this is the kind of profile she has. Okay, so now you all have learned a bit more about how she's like. Let me show you a post she recently posted. Okay, so she enjoys traveling a lot lah. So this was her view from inside the plane, and then it's accompanied by this post. So take your time. It's a very long post. Take your time, read it. Okay. Alright, so you all have seen her post. What are your thoughts about this?
I think that, okay, she have achieved her success already. And from this post, I can tell that she achieved her success from hard work and hard work alone. I think this is a very nice, sincere post telling you need to work hard to get where you are. Yeah.
I agree with what she said. We live in a very, very good era. In a sense, that what she said, like, we have never suffered a war and anything. And she's helping women entrepreneurs and helping SME and small local businesses. I feel that her goal, right, in pushing Singapore business and youngsters' mindset, right, is a good mindset to have. Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I want to share, because for Doreen, right, a lot of the things that this lady has done is charting the path that she wants to take. A lot of things is quite ridiculous, no?
Yeah.
Because PR company, fashion, mentor women, redefine academics, all these things are all things that she has done or want to do also.
Yeah. I feel, right, she's the kind of lady that I really look up to. Like, the whole message, right, there are a lot of things that, both of them mentioned already. But one thing I feel that is, Singapore, right, we are a very small nation without much resources. So the only resources that we have, right, is actually human. Yes. If our own people don't work hard, right, what would the next few generations be like?
Because we didn't get to where we are by being weaklings lah.
Yeah, correct.
I think tapping on your points, right, both your points earlier, a quote comes to mind, a story comes to mind. There's this one thing I read quite some time back. It says, tough times lead to strong men. Strong men lead to easy times. Easy times lead to weak men. Weak men lead to tough times. So the cycle
It's a
goes
cycle.
again.
Yeah.
And I feel the past generation has been the tough men, which is why we are in easy times. And what that means is it's going to bring weak men. Okay, so you guys have your views on what she has posted, right? And basically we are all in agreement lah, right? But not everyone shared the same sentiments. And in fact, overwhelmingly it was against her. I'm going to show you guys some of the comments.
I think this just really proves the point.
And it proves the point about the weak men. Where men is, men and women lah.
I totally disagree with them.
Okay, so this is one of the top commenters. She had like 600 over likes lah. So I'm going to condense it. Basically what she said is, this post might be easier to swallow if there's an acknowledgement of privilege. So this is a running theme with a lot of the commenters on her comment section. They are always calling her out on her privilege. And this happens to be a very famous catchphrase for the woke community. Everything is check your privilege. You all are privileged. You all don't understand what other people are going through. It's a very common catchphrase that they use in their echo chamber lah. Okay, so she starts off by talking about her privilege, and she ends off by saying also her privilege. Privilege is real, and it would do the world some good if those who have it would just simply acknowledge it. Empathy can bridge the gap. So once again, somehow it has to lead to privilege. Okay, but this is what Jean responded lah. Basically, she's saying the success of a company has nothing to do with the privilege. She went through a lot of hardship. She went through the verge of bankruptcy and pulled herself out of it twice. Wow. And this is because of the people around her, the people in the company and all. Nothing to do with privilege. Maybe you guys don't really understand. So, like what y'all have said, maybe have a little empathy. Very diplomatic. Okay, and she has this. She's in PR lah. She knows how to deal with people. Over here we have, this is another example of how she knows how to deal with people lah. Some clown over here, Surya. I don't know why. He has the audacity to think his opinion is very important. So he say, okay, if the employees want it, the employees can afford it, then I don't see anything wrong with it. Okay, so good for you. Maybe you can't see things, it's fine. But the way she said is, indeed, perhaps I'm old-fashioned to hope people still prioritize their personal growth and goals as a top priority. I'm learning every day. Very kind, very diplomatic.
We have to protect her.
Okay, there's this one other guy. He's apparently some PR guy also lah. So he said some bullshit and then Jin responded to him, say, okay, we probably cannot have a full conversation on an IG thread. Would you like to maybe talk about this offline? We can develop the conversation. So very open, very receiving. Okay, the clown responded, we don't need to DM. People should benefit from this conversation. I will let you go by giving you this one last thing though. I can't say it enough. Our perspective doesn't matter. Our perspectives don't matter as much as we wish it did. Okay, so for some reason he feels he's all-knowing. Whatever he says, a person of her caliber and her level probably can heed advice.
What the?
Okay?
He's so full of himself. You know?
Exactly.
Wow.
Know your damn place.
Okay, I'm going to show you one last comment. So this guy, basically what he's saying is this. Have you ever thought about it from an employee standpoint? Okay, and that's one of the things he said. Then he ended off with this. I believe there are many factors you need to consider and your view may be very one-dimensional. Okay, coming from a guy with a fake profile, and basically his comment was zero-dimensional. He didn't even have any real perspective.
You know the Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? This lady probably, I believe because based on her credentials, right, she probably at the highest level already.
Yep.
Like, you know, what is it called?
Self-actualization.
Like, and she know what she achieved every single need she wants in life already, and she know right what is the
way to get up there.
Yeah, the way to get up there, and she's just sharing her opinions already. Then you let those kind of people still at the basic level of
Only
needs,
eat food, eat, sleep, live.
yeah, this kind of thing. Let them question you. What the hell? They don't even know what they're talking about. Yeah.
She's an entrepreneur, and for entrepreneur, right, sometimes it's not about what you do, you know. It's about when you fall, right, you know when to stand up and how to stand up, and you stand up again, you know. That's the most important thing as an entrepreneur. So for this kind of people, right, and she probably like stood up a lot of times, you know, more than all these people. So in terms of like knowing life, right, who really, you know, see life?
Yeah, she been through it already.
Yeah. Wow.
The broadness, yeah, you want to say?
Okay, and can I say something or not? You know, just now they mentioned privilege, right? Now, right, in the world, there's more self-made millionaire, right, than those that are millionaire from inheritance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Self-made millionaire, there's more there. So there's no just like, okay, I believe there's certain privilege out there in the world, but you also have to actually
your way up.
acknowledge, right, the person's hard work.
One of the reasons why I wanted to raise that last comment, right, is because there's something that I want to highlight lah. This fella, I tell you, the hypocrisy over here is just staggering. He talk about how have you considered things from the employee's perspective, and you are very one-dimensional. I'll tell you something, these guys, they probably have never started something before. When you start a venture, right, the breadth of your exposure, the breadth of your experience is very wide. And the reason for that is because when you're an employee, you have your tasks to do. You have your KPIs to hit and stuff. When you are an employer, those are all very minute stuff, no? You have so many more things to take care of.
It's
I don't know when I see the comment, I'm like, what do you mean by you have never been in the employee shoe? As an employer, right, you had to think about all the employee under you, and that is like, well, how many factors? And if you talk about factors, right, you maybe consider like, you're not considering all the factors in the world. A company, right, there's so many sectors, so many factors, and like what you say, all the nitty-gritty details, right, makes up the company.
Yeah.
And she is the one that is on top, handling all of this. And what do you mean by one-dimensional? How in the world is that one-dimensional?
That's what I find is very hypocritical when you are the one thinking from the employee perspective, which is one-dimensional, and you're saying that the employee who has so many things to think about is one-dimensional.
Do you even hear yourself?
Okay, like we got start a few things, There are so many things you need to think about, right? To the point where, I tell you honestly, I have never thought of work-life balance. I have never thought about this before.
He works 7 days.
When we do shit, I'm not thinking, okay, how can I have a bit more free time for myself? I'm thinking, okay, this part, there is some issue that can be optimized. What can I do to optimize this? Like, for example, young elites. Okay, how can I get more people to sign up? How can I find more parents who might be interested? Is the headline that I'm using the best headline? Is the offer that I'm presenting as the front end offer the best one to convert? All these are things that we want to optimize now. From the employee perspective, are these all things you need to consider? Sometimes if your role fits this. But if your role fits this, you probably won't think of other things. What about the investors that we want to bring in? All these kind of things. You won't need to think about.
I think this builds character, lor. And this kind of character, right, compared to like these people, right, who can really survive anywhere they go.
Okay, so that leads me to my final question, because that's a good point. So my question is this. Do you think it's important to have a go-getter mentality regardless whatever you do? Or that's not for everyone and that's fine?
Okay, for me, I believe that having that mentality is good. But not for every single thing, but for things that you actually care about. For things that...
Okay, continue.
the things that you actually want to achieve, then you have that mindset. Yeah, you don't have to so sell on all the time, correct?
Okay, that's a completely valid and completely fair point.
Yeah.
I mean, based on your question, of course, I feel that it will be better if everybody has the go-getter mentality. Because a lot of things, right, how it works, right, is if one is lacking, one have to pick up the slack. And a lot of time is, if I'm not a go-getter, maybe I just do 80% of my work. Or I just do what I need to do. Anything that happens out of my scope, I turn a blind eye.
So, you also feel the same way?
Yeah, I think it's same thing as well. Depends on the individual But for me personally, right, I'm definitely not the second one. So I feel, right, to be responsible to your own self, right, you have to have goals. You have to be of a certain expectation of your own self. Then that is also, I feel, right, talking about personal expectation, it also kind of like rub off to the people around you.
Okay, based on what Doreen said, right, she says she's a go-getter, and I completely agree with her. You can see it from her WhatsApp bio. How you do anything right is how you do everything.
And that bio haven't changed for 8 years, no! 8 years, no!
That's how committed I am!